All right, StreamYard, yes. Hey, we are live. How you guys doing? It's Adam Post, publisher of College of the Dead, successful publisher of College of the Dead, I might add, and the amazing and talented DEATHSWORN creator, Karl O.
Hey, what's up?
How the hell is everybody doing? And I'll tell you what. Yeah, Karl, go ahead, man.
I'm trying to find the link, dude. All the YouTube channels are being suppressed. I can't find it on my subscriptions.
We're being suppressed? How dare they? All right, we're going to have to share this channel out. No one will suppress us. We will not be suppressed. We refuse to be suppressed. We refuse.
I'm trying to find your YouTube channel, and it's not even live on that.
Well, kind of.
Oh, I see it now. I see it now.
You got it. We got to share this out.
Yeah, we're sharing it all out.
Nacho Frago. We got Nacho Frago, man. That's all that matters. We got Nacho. We got probably a couple other people haven't said anything yet, but go ahead and make some comments. Joe, let's share this out on Twitter, man. We need your backup on this one because yeah, we are getting suppressed. Maybe I did too many videos in a 24-hour time period. That's possible too. But let's blame YouTube and their censorship. How dare they? Who do they think they are?
Yeah, you have to click directly. It's not showing up in my subscription. I have to go directly to your page, your profile to find this in my feed.
You know what it is, Karl? Now that we're talking, hey, 16 people, that's great. We're happy to have you. Death Metal Hero, great to see you. Nacho Frago, share it again. Death Metal Hero, let's share this stream out. Let's make sure people know about it. Yeah, you know what? I might have done more than 3 videos in the last 24 hours. Just honestly, we can blame YouTube all we want, but that is kind of their rule. Like they're not going to send notifications on more than 3 streams at once. So I'm going to go ahead and just take a minute and share this on Twitter. Karl O. was not around last night for all the excitement and the drama. Karl usually is the excitement and the drama. Karl brings the pain. He yells at everybody, especially me. And honestly, that's a privilege. It's great to be yelled at by Karl. But Karl's starting to catch up, and he was starting to see like anti-CG, like they will target anyone and anything if they think it's gonna hurt Ethan in some way.
Yeah, if it hurts the whole idea, no matter what, whether they take it out of context or anything, just hitting that. The reason is that they've gotten to the point now, like with Mike, where all they have is failure. So they have to prove in some way that things are they're failures. No, even you've seen this with Ethan's campaign, like even the Cyberfrog Wreck Planet campaign. People are trying to paint that as a failure because that's their bar. Like that's what they have to measure up to now. They have to prove that it's not just them failing. So they don't care about success anymore. It's like, how can we misconstrue every little detail? And when they're doing it, the channel is like, fucking, when they're doing it, the Ethan's campaign, like they're doing it, the Cyberfrog campaign, like what was it, 300,000 in 24 hours? You're insane. Like you're losing your mind when you're at that point.
Thrilling stories. I like this. I'm failing, so I have to prove everyone else is failing. Yeah, Karl, you're right. And you know what? Maybe it's a conspiracy, or maybe it's just like losers feeling like losers and acting like losers. Like, because if you're a loser, you can kind of find failure in anything. And if you're a winner, you can find success in anything. And sometimes you got to stretch it a little bit. And, I don't freaking get it. I don't really freaking get it myself because I don't see things that way. And you know what? I'll play. There's people that are just starting to come in now, but I'll play this little audio clip of theirs. Basically talking smack about like, well, obviously Adam Post is on these shows and, he's not successful with his campaign. He's doing everything Comicsgate says, but all right, here are the geniuses. And notice how Edwin is like hiding at the bottom.
I don't know why he does that. Why would you even bother? Like, why would you put your camera on if you're doing that? I don't understand it. Why?
Does he have a mustache? Is that sort of like, it looks like a Hitler mustache, honestly. I'm not
I
saying
know
he's
because
Hitler.
it's cut off. It's fucking it's cut off like that, so you can't see like down the side of it. You just see the top, like the peak of it. I mean, come on, man.
I did that on Ethan's stream last night because, of course, Ethan had me on immediately because the first time I've been on his channel with College of the Dead 2, graduation day, and he had me on, and I was doing that. I had my laptop up, like I was kind of like peeking my head into a corner like that.
Go, I have like, yeah, good. Play it.
All right, playing it.
From all appearances, he's doing all the things that Comicsgate says to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
Makes all those videos. He goes on all the live streams, and he's only got 90 backers.
Okay,
That's
so
the power of Comicsgate.
What was that, Carl?
Yeah, so I know he says, then Mike says something like, I'm just repeating Ethan's words right here. When here's the thing, you fucking weirdo nerd bullies, which is what these fuckers are. Because that's the thing. They're like Edwin's always like, oh, how could people like this as a hobby? Or this is supposed to be a hobby and people don't want to be attacked when they're making comics as a hobby. And it's like, dude, you're keeping like these weird like fucking tabs of shit,
What? Oh,
it's like
he
you're
really
a nerd,
is.
like you're a weird nerd bully, like you're a little nerd bully. Like that's what like weirdo nerds do. Like it's weird, but like it's not a fucking hobby. But it's like, since when did these guys become fucking communists? Like when was it expected that everybody got the same in Comicsgate? Like it's all about merit. Like, maybe there's any number of things about Adam's campaign that could be better. Maybe there's any number of things about anybody else's campaign that could be better. Maybe there's any number of things about Adam's videos that could be better. Maybe there's any number of things about fucking anybody else's videos that could be better. Like he's doing it. And guess what, Mike? He has actually experienced growth from one campaign to the next. It's doing far better than before. You were trying to hit the 5K mark towards the end of your live campaign last time, right?
Yeah. I'll show the numbers too. That's the other. Well, you want to play the rest of this video just to have them make their stupid comment, and then we can mock them, and then
Yeah,
I have
sure.
all the. I see Edwin's got all the spreadsheets and stats, and Edwin reached out to me. Whatever. I was communicating with him not recently, but when the first campaign launched, and he gave me some reasonable advice. He was telling everybody the same thing, and he was supportive of College of the Dead. I think initially, he knows my first campaign, so it's like it's misconstruing stuff because maybe it looks like, oh well, we can say that Cyberfrog is a failure. I guess if I'm not doing as big numbers as DEATHSWORN did when it closed. Or in its current in demand or something like it's disingenuous garbage for morons because the first campaign ended at 5,300 after 60 days. So I'm like, now I might be 12 days in and the campaign's doing really well now thanks to the power of Comicsgate because I was on Ethan's show for 15 minutes and did at least $2,500, $3,000. We did a ton of business immediately. But yeah, let's just play the rest of these yo-yos. Come on, yo-yos, talk.
Edwin? I'm sorry, I'm quoting Ethan.
Oh yeah, he was mocking Ethan.
That's the power of Comicsgate, Edwin. I'm sorry, I'm quoting Ethan.
It's funny. It's like
Oscar said
your shit is grown. Can you pause that shit? You're fucking playing over and over again.
Yeah, well, I want to play it over and over again. Yeah, no, I'm
well, yeah. So he has been on a downward spiral, like not only in funding, in backers, but in actual content. Like Mike is like, and I mean, he started off like that. He started off taking shit from the back rooms, taking just shit he had lying around and being like, buy it so I can ship the fucking last books because I don't have the fucking cash to. Now he's getting to the point where it's like he's doodles, like he's doing newspaper strips, and he's like, please, please buy them, please. It's like you're on a constantly going downward in every fucking metric.
And
Adam is going up in every metric.
I
Last
can't-
fucking book was black and white. This book is fucking color. The next fucking book, hopefully, he doesn't restrict the artist so that the panels can be dynamic and cool.
Well,
And then it will be
possible.
even better. Everything will go up. Like it is a loser mentality where it's like we are failing, so I'm hoping to God everything fails. That's the best thing for Mike. If everything gets burnt, if everything gets fucked over and lost for him, that's the best thing for him. If all this gets wiped away and everybody forgets that they bought their books, forgets about Comicsgate, that's what he's hoping for. That's what he's hoping for, because he has books, finished books sitting around, and they're not going out to people. Why? He's hoping that it's over. He's hoping that everybody fails and that this thing is forgotten about and it's shoved out away.
It's like they're hoping to try to prove that you don't need people to be successful. You don't need to respect customers. You can just be egotistical all day long. You can overstate the quality of your work, as Mike does. He talks about how he's better than Todd McFarlane. He's better than Ethan. He's a real artist. That it doesn't even. Obviously, some of his fans are fans of Ethan's work as well. I've seen some guys that are just like, well, I buy Ethan's comics, I buy other people's comics, but there's Mike, telling basically fans that they don't know art if they don't agree with him. It's like, aside from the fact that obviously people work in their own styles, but yeah, this was College of the Dead book 1. I was thrilled with it. Now, I was on Ethan's show a number of times. No one really knew who I was. And, when I put this book out, I didn't have any kind of following, but Comicsgate welcomed me in. I was on small shows. I was on then some larger shows. On Ethan's show, I was on John Malin's show, Antonio Bryce's show. And up until last night, I haven't been on any of those major channels. But we got 100 backers, but that was after 60 days. It was 60 days. I didn't do 3,000. Maybe I had close to 3,000, around 3,000 after 30 days on the first campaign. We wound up with 100 backers. All the books shipped as promised on time before Halloween of 2019. And then I've been in demand and just keep selling more books since. So that campaign's closed. And then I did my new campaign, which, I wanted to do color because everyone else was doing cool color books. And I was like, all right, cool. I want to do a color College of the Dead. And we started testing it. But you can't do this stuff without Comicsgate. I've done color comics before, but it's been a while. It's been a bit since I've done it. And technology has even changed since I've done it, because it really wasn't like the same type of digital coloring. Our stuff was, watercolor in the mid 90s, and it came out great. But, this is a little different. So I've hired colors before. I know a lot of people in the business, but the book was originally a black and white book. It was designed for black and white, College of the Dead graduation day. And to get the color right, Kyle Ritter pitched in. He gave us a lot of great feedback, me and the colorist. I got the colorist from the guy who did Door Kickers, Farah, who's now getting around Comicsgate more. She's coloring for a few of us guys.
Super Harem.
Yeah, Super Harem, exactly. Wenger's book. She's coloring Eric's Weather's next book, I believe, and a couple of other titles. And the Grade 8.5's book. I can't say the name. I forgot it. Paraguay or something like that. But yeah, and Kyle gave us feedback. We made it right. Karl, you gave me a little feedback on the coloring, which I took to heart. But everybody helps each other in Comicsgate. This is producing color comics at all for me. Especially with work that was intended originally for black and white, is showing that Comicsgate works. And as far as Comicsgate working, I had funded almost as much after 60 days as I funded in this new campaign after like 10 days. We'd made like the same number. That's very good. That's not bad. It really is. It's like, and as I said in my video last night, it was like, that's like 500% more revenue. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean it's all going to go in a straight line over 60 days. You kind of don't know what's going to happen. But it's really, really good. It's Comicsgate has shown me a lot of love, and I'm sure it's because, I delivered the first books in the first place. But then I go because my numbers were like $5,400 before I went on Ethan's show, College of the Dead. What is this? And now it's 86.15. Like I can't even keep track of how much we're doing from Comicsgate. This is more than $3,000 from being on Ethan's show talking about College of the Dead for 15 minutes. And I can't thank Comicsgate enough. I really appreciate it. I appreciate the support. These books will be delivered looking fantastic on time, June 2020. And again, I have this book complete. We're just doing the layouts and stuff now. But it's the power of Comicsgate. The money is great. I want people to get to see more books, and you're building an audience. Now, even like DEATHSWORN closed at 17,000 US or so. It keeps changing because of the exchange rate, probably, right?
Yeah, I got fucking hit bad with that. Like the exchange rate went down real far. The exchange rate is on like a downward spiral, like Mike. So it hit me, man. It took away some of my fucking took away
some of your juice. So we got to back DEATHSWORN too, guys. Now, you did 318 backers, October 12th, 2019. It was a great day. And it was a couple more thousand than that. But you also came out like you were promoting your campaign for a long time. But
I've been working on this book for a long time, and I've been promoting it, and I mean, I get out there and I engage shit, and I don't tell people what they can or can't do or can or can't say, and I don't burn people that fucking help me. Even for the longest time when because I started my campaign when all this shit kicked off, and for the longest time, like I was going on, I'd be in streams before they launch, and the guys would be talking about what they're going to talk about, and they'd bring up certain people. I'd say, you know what, that guy was kind of cool for me for a while, and he did this for me, so like let's not talk shit about them. And they were always like, yeah, okay, fine, yeah, And those people now have unfortunately turned themselves into like the enemies, like to a ridiculous point. It's like cartoonish. It's like Mike just has like this fucking dirt pile he's sitting on, like this nothing he's sitting on, and he wants everybody else to have a dirt pile. Like it's horrific. Yeah, it's really unchristian to like sit on nothing. You're king nothing, and look at people who have worked hard to build stuff and used to give you handouts and used to give you everything that you had, and for you to only fucking wish that they all crumbled. Like that's how much pride you have. You can't actually step outside of yourself and look at it and you say like, okay, this is where I fucked up. You have so much pride that you'd rather everything gets burnt. Like you'd rather point out and try to make everybody look like a failure than admit to your own failures. Like,
yeah, or just like in his case, he wouldn't even have to really admit to his failures as much as to say, look, I need to do this better. I'm still working out how to do this.
But it's not even that. It's like, that's the power of Comicsgate. It's like, you fucker. There are people, there are friends, your fucking pals, Mike. People that fucking like you and share your bullshit and fucking go on your streams that, guess what? They get to the point in their campaign where they go, hey, Mike doesn't fucking do anything for my book. Hashtag Comicsgate. I'm fucking jumping ship. I'm going over to Comicsgate now. It happens all the time. There's fucking creators out there that every day take little fucking pussy side swipes at Comicsgate, at fucking Ethan, at War Campaign, at all this shit. These no drama fucking hashtag pussies. And guess what? They get to the fucking end hours of that campaign and they fucking come crawling. They come crawling like fucking worms. And do they get fucking help? No, they don't. Because it's not about fucking Ethan giving handouts. It's about engaging and building your own audience. And that's something that you fucking can't do. You don't have people that like you. You have people that hate the same people you hate. That's it. That's all you have. It's an empire of fucking dirt.
Yeah. you do have to build your own platform. You do have to build your own audience. I was on a stream the other day. I forgot which one, but I was talking about you, Karl, actually, and just saying how you have a concept where it's like, listen, you build your email list. Those are your fans. That's like your fan club. So you think about how to interact with them that way, and then you respect those damn people, and you know what they're interested in is maybe you and what you do creatively, but they're really interested in the story too. So it's like you've got to engage them with the story and the character and the brand. And you gave me a lot of great advice. You know, it's you've got a great way of thinking, and you're a young guy, so like you really got a great focus on this stuff. But
Yeah, I'm the target audience for this shit. For all
yeah,
this shit.
yeah. So this if this doesn't interest you, then a
Like
publisher has a problem.
I'm the fucking like the petri dish that fucking Marvel should be growing, and they just chew me out. Like I'm the exact person. It's like young enough to be into this shit, but also old enough to have an income to spend on it, to dedicate to it, not fucking, you know, pocket change from your parents every weekend. It's, you know, fucking actually working. So young enough to be into it, old enough to have money to fucking spend on it, dedicated to the craft itself. The entire fucking comic book marketplace, it is the majority of people who are into it also create. And so when there is a cut off from the main industry, from welcoming and growing that creator scene that are actually going to affect it and promote and do fucking money for it, instead of these weirdos that don't, these weirdos that collude and fucking try to destroy people and try to fucking make people commit suicide, that, you know, it's like you fucked me over. Like you've cut me and anybody like me out of it. Like the people who are focused and want to give people like something, give them something to champion, give them something to fucking carry through into this shit. It's like I say, when I don't think of DEATHSWORN merch as like, I'm going to make a comic book t-shirt. It's like, no, you're going to have a t-shirt that makes you look like the charter member of a motorcycle club, because that's what a fucking is. There's an attitude. There's everything that people want to carry with it. It's not about being a good person or being nice. I don't want to fucking, people keep saying make comics great again. I want to make comics rage again. That's it. It's fucking, that's what DEATHSWORN is. We're going to fucking, where it's all that fucking little edge of people, that Wolverine, that guy who bought Wolverine Conan that's getting fucking shit on. That's who I'm going for.
Yeah, and it's working. People are seeing it. When you did DEATHSWORN, was that a 30-day campaign, or did that wind up getting extended to 60?
It was 60. I was thinking about only doing 30, but I'm like, I only got fucking email when it was ending on the 30 days. Like it didn't send out the ending email, so I extended it, and then I got the ending email on the 60 day, which is weird. Yeah. And that brought in a ton of people, man. Dude, people in Comicsgate are they're like they leave you hanging. Like they like to be like walk the line, you know? Like it was the same with the mailing list. Before that I even launched the campaign, I was like 5 minutes until I launch, I'm shutting down the mailing list, and like in that 5 minutes I got like 30 backers, like 30 sign-ups. I was like, you guys were waiting the last second.
That is funny. It is funny. Well, that's where like the end of the campaign, a lot of business comes at the end of the campaign too. And yeah, look, DEATHSWORN did great. That's why DEATHSWORN 2 is going to probably be twice as big. I mean, people know who you are now. They're interested in you. People love to see your work.
Yeah, it's also more than double in demand.
Yeah, that's huge.
And so that's because but it's also because I've gotten so much better at being on mic. I've gotten so much better at being on shows, at promoting on Twitter, at interacting with people, at growing this thing, at bringing people in. You know, I look at a lot of the stuff on what I did, and it's been a while since I put it up, and I'm like, oh, I would change so much of this, you know, and I haven't changed so much of it. If people had a keen eye on the campaign, they'd see that I was constantly updating when I recolored something, I'd update it. When I recolored whatever the image or change the pro image or whatever. I did a lot of these things you learn as you go. And I think that's why everybody's kind of first one is sort of a bit shaky like that.
Yeah, Tungsten, thanks, man. Yeah, Tungsten's a great supporter. I see all these names I recognize. All you guys are out there supporting the campaigns. And yeah, when Karl does updates, even on Twitter, like that's art for him. He does something creative, kind of like every time, and he's always thinking about what he could do next to make it interesting.
You always have to be transparent, and it's like you're constantly talking to people, talking to printers. Like plans change. Like I'm making an update today. I'm going to ask the backers because I was talking to the printers. We're talking about variant covers because I'm planning a variant cover for the closing out the campaign. But I also have the sketch cover counts as a variant cover, And when we were talking about how to go about it, how to do it, they basically said, hey, it's more cost effective for you to put it in as a whole new order than it is for us to go through the whole process of rebinding the same interior pages with this new cover.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, you know what that means though? It means I can change the interiors. So I'm thinking, hey, the sketch cover.
Yeah.
I'm thinking the sketch cover, I can do I can do inks. I can do it all inked on the inside. Because here's the thing, that when I sold the sketch cover there, I sold it with everything. So you didn't just buy a sketch cover, you bought an extra copy, a normal copy of book 1, an Ashcan, and everything else, right? So I'm going, oh, we can if those people already got the colored version, so that if I make the sketch cover black and white, then it's like an entirely new extra book.
Yeah.
And it's cool to see. And then I can put that up as a new tier as just that alone, as the black and white blank cover variant, and see what happens. Like and that's shit that happens on the fly because we're all learning this. We're all talking through this,
Death Pusher is awesome. Death Pusher was the one who pulled that clip. From you guys, the artists, to me, us, the customers, Comicscape means so many important things, mainly unity, but almost importantly, independence. Yes, just my 2 cents. Those are 2 very valuable cents. You keep throwing them in the bucket, my friend. We want more of your cents. And even common sense. Hail Adam, hail Karl, hail CG.
Yeah, independence is a big thing, and it's funny you brought up this Kickstarter because that's the one thing that Mike actually doesn't value, and he claims that he always values it. But you have to remember, when we were on, everybody picked Indiegogo because it was the platform of fucking independence, of freedom. When you're doing these books, not only are you free from editorial decisions, from these conglomerates getting involved in your art and doing it. When you fucking make art, especially when you make commercial art, which is what comic books are, you already there's so many concessions just to make it commercial. There's so much stuff you have to do. If you pick an aesthetic, there's so many rules you have to follow.
Karl,
if you pick a story, there's so many rules you have to follow. When you fucking create art, the difference between making a fucking craft and making that craft into art is when you are a complete fascist when it comes to your fucking craft. When it comes to what you're fucking making your property. And when you have shit like Indiegogo, where it's like, hey, you can come here and you're free from editorial, you're free from these fucking conglomerates that are going to change your fucking art, that are going to crush. And when you change your art, it means that the actual craft end of it suffers because you're not making what you want to make and you're not making it how you want to make it. And then on top of that, some of these fucking platforms are going to make you change shit for political reasons, and they're not going to let you on it because of where you politically align. And so they fucking shut you down for that. And Indiegogo is like, hey, no, you're free from all of that. You can't get any better. It's complete freedom over here. As long as you're not fucking crossing the line legally, it's complete freedom over here. And guys like Mike, when it came to fucking taking money, they fucking betrayed that. They put it up. They said, fuck that. Let's go over and get this fucking money. But again, it's not about money. And look at it. This is the thing. He got fucking kicked off of Kickstarter. And he still comes crawling back for the cash.
Any money he can take out of it. And I'm looking at this, Karl, and I've looked on Kickstarter before. I've been on their site. there's some things that sell very well on Kickstarter, particularly like really exploitive, like absurdly large-breasted women. Like, now I like big breasts, but I mean like 4-to-1, like triple E breasted manga, anime, whatever, and people without followings that make money doing that. Now, if Mike is in a situation that he needs to push out more product to bring in revenue, and I don't know what his finances are, I've heard that, but if that's the case, what would be the possible reason to launch a campaign? And this is me criticizing him now, just straight business stuff. Like, why would you launch this bizarre cartoony thing, even if you had it laying around? Like, so he could have promised to ship it like June 2020. Nobody needs to get blessed this mess in June 2020. If you had something commercial, something with a saleable aesthetic, he could, even his atomic family concept, he could have put that on here and maybe showed like 2 pages from it, or 1 page, or something. Like, they have really a lot of heavily sexualized stuff on Twitter. It's kind of on Kickstarter. It's kind of ridiculous, but just make it something people would spend money on if he needs money that badly. But just to say like, well, what do I have laying around? Let me slap it together. If that's what this is. Yeah. I don't get it.
And that's the opposite of what people want on this, like so many people pride themselves on how low they're selling or what they can do. Like, you've seen it. I've seen it. I've gotten those fucking emails because I back a campaign that's puts a price at a low price, and then fucking 8-9 months down the road, they go, oh, we charge too little and we can't fucking send it out. I'm going out of pocket to send it out. And it's like, yeah, you fucking sold me. You didn't fucking misjudge the price. You sold me goods you can't ship. That's fucking thievery. And people want more. They want fucking shit you're pouring your life into. Taking shit out the fucking back and putting it on a shelf doesn't sell. Like, that's not what these things are for. If you need to fucking get caught up, you need to pump stuff out. And all he does, I saw he was on Jason Brubaker's channel and shit. And it's like, all he is talking about is fucking PewDiePie. All he's talking about is these other huge Jazza draws and all these other huge YouTubers to try to sell his shit on. And you're like, that's what you were doing before. That's exactly what you did before.
It worked. Right?
With Ethan, that's exactly what you did before. And now you're against that. And you're trying to do it with fucking Jazza draws. You want to sell Magnificent Seven on Jazza's draws? A fucking Australian that can barely fucking draw and fucking has a channel that's dedicated to 5-year-olds. PewDiePie, a fucking guy who has a channel for fucking 5-year-olds, and you want to sell your magnificent fucking trash on that? What are you talking? That is not. There's so many. No, he's not going on Jazza, but he was talking about it. He was talking about how he wants these channels that have huge numbers to start getting into comics and putting out comics, and imagine how much they'd bring into the indie scene. It's the same thing. People kept saying it with fucking with Sean Gordon Murphy. They're like, oh my god, he's coming over the fucking Indiegogo. Yay, he's gonna bring so many people over here. And it's like, you fuckers, he's Bugs Bunny. He's fucking Bugs Bunny in a Ramones t-shirt. He's a fucking faker. He's a faker. He's a fake punk little fucking prick. He sat and stewed and let it fucking burn. He let the comic book industry burn, and he didn't fucking take a stand for shit. And when someone pushed him, he fucking bent the knee. And everybody was saying it was Doug getting canceled. They weren't trying to fucking cancel Doug. Doug owns that artwork. He owns that Sean Gordon Murphy artwork. He can put it on any fucking book he wants to. He owns those characters. It's Sean. They try to fucking cancel Sean like they've been doing for fucking forever. Since he got fucking big, they've been trying to shut him down. And everybody thought it was fucking Doug, that people were bending the knee, that they were doing that shit. These guys are fucking weak. They shouldn't be over here. Scott Snyder, they're fucking talking about doing crowdfunding books. All these people moving over the fucking YouTube, all this shit. It's like you sat in it, you fucking stewed in it, and now you want to come over here and fucking take a little fucking nick off of it. Well, fuck you, you fucking Bugs Bunny in a Ramones t-shirt. You're corporate fucking punk. You're nothing.
How do you really
I
feel
don't even
about
know
it, Karl?
why I was talking about that.
No, but because it's that attitude. You were saying it's the attitude that Mike had, where it's like, I'll just grab this old stuff I had laying around, I'll throw it out.
Yeah, and not build an audience and not build a thing. That's why it's like Ron Mars does Ron Mars does a fucking Kickstarter, and it does nothing. All these pros do Kickstarters. They don't put any number up to Cyberfrog. I'm doing it better than a lot of them, and it's like, that's because you haven't built that audience. You haven't built that fucking revenue stream. You haven't built that up. That's all these other fucking YouTubers, when they were going after Ethan for not focusing on fucking culture war bullshit every single day. It's like, you guys don't have that built. You don't have that. Like, you guys are just casting a net and you're catching every kind of fucking fish out there. You're not catching the fish that are going to fucking that you want to fucking catch. You know, you're not catching the fish that you can sell. You're not building a fucking a charged up culture. And that's one of the fucking great things about Comicsgate. That's why people are like, well, fucking Comicsgate is a swamp and fucking indie comics is like the ocean. It's like, no. What, yeah, it's like, no, you fucking
I love
dope.
that was an Edwin impression, right?
What it
was
was
good.
like, it was like
That was good.
Edwin meets fucking Humpty Dumpty.
I like it.
The thing that Comicsgate has different to all that shit is that it has a fucking culture. It has a culture that you can add shit to. It's like, I say fucking punk, and it becomes this thing that's taken in and added to the fucking mixture. It's like it's there's a beginning, there's a true line throughout it, and there's all this shit happening at any point, and you can come in and insert yourself into it at any level you choose to.
Yep, and it adds to the texture. It adds to the whole dynamic of it, and you can feel it grow. And the thing I like so much about Comicsgate, and the thing I did a video about this, but the Edwins and the Mikes like kind of don't understand it. The fact that it works for small creators, that Comicsgate actually does work for small creators. And I was talking about the Grim Reaper 2 people, the Grim Reaper guys who do like a really small comic. Their first campaign was $1,795, and they shipped their first book, color comic, and then they came back and they're working on their second book. It was up to like $2,400. They're building, they're building. But the Comicsgate network, it works for small creators. Of course, it works for really big creators too. You get on Ethan's channel, like Dan Fraga is going to do. Ethan made a tweet. He said that Comicsgate is going to cover Dan Fraga in money. Like, no doubt. Because Dan Fraga is a 90s creator. People know who he is. They're excited to see his project come out. And it supports Comicsgate on every level to have another big name creator come join us and work with us and add to that mix and add to the stew of greatness and creativity and opportunity for everybody. But
he's also entertaining, and he's fun.
Yeah.
He's on shows people like to watch, and he can be good, and he listens to the chat. Like,
yeah, he interacts with people on Twitter great too. He's great.
It's really like that's the big thing, is like small fucking creators, man. Like, how well small creators do in Comicsgate. Like, it's like, if there's a campaign that hits like 2,000, like is there any campaigns that are like linger around that 2,000 mark? Like, I don't see them. Like,
pretty limited.
One of the base levels in Comicsgate for small creators is like 5,000, 6,000. That is fucking huge compared to so many other books, man. You go on Kickstarter, look, because that's where the majority of like not CG books are.
Yeah.
And look at the numbers that most of these books are putting up. I know guys that like they pay artists to make books that don't even bring in $2,000.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, dude, what are you paying these guys? Like, how are you getting this done? Where like, how much money are you putting in printing? Like, it's not a business for these people. It's not something that they can be covered with. Like, they have to fucking go out of pocket to make this stuff, and they know it. It's barely a hobby, you know, for these people.
Because it's and I don't know that it's really funny to look at a Mike Miller person and be like, well, this guy, him and Edwin, Adam is doing all the things the Comicsgate say you're supposed to do, and the numbers aren't there. And it's like, well, Mike, you did get 100 fucking appearances on Ethan's show, and he endorsed you on every show, and he helped promote and sell your book even when you weren't there, and he did that for other people as well, because it was helping Mike, and it was also helping build Comicsgate. And that's the stupidity of Mike, is he actually did help build this platform, but he wanted to own it and control it, apparently. And when that wasn't good enough, he ran off and ran away from it. But he helped build it. He was there. He helped make shows entertaining. That people didn't like him as much as some other people, whatever. But I laughed. I enjoyed it. I did not back Lone Star, but he was there. He helped do something for it, and some aspect that he must have loved, because he kept going back and going back, maybe just for the money. I don't know, but you get 100 appearances on a show, even a book that's like, reasonably well drawn, but not really passionately well drawn. And Ethan's going to endorse it 100 times. It's going to do pretty well. It's just to take for granted the opportunity to be on Ethan's show, to have Ethan's endorsements, to build your own channel. I built my channel because I've been on Ethan's channel. A lot of people see me on Ethan's channel. I'm not, I understand that. And Comicsgate is behind all of my success. And I respect it. I appreciate it. And I pay for it. I invest in Comicsgate. That's what I'm doing. But it's complete. Everything on every level with the Mike Miller crew is just freaking shocking to me. None of it makes sense. I thought Edwin was looking over a sales list. I didn't realize till we looked at it till today, because it was really small on my screen. He's maintaining these bizarre spreadsheets of statistics. I don't know what the hell he's doing with this information, but it's not giving him any insight, apparently. Because
that's what he does. He's big brained. These guys are big brained. They know how to work a fucking Excel document. They're big brained. Well, guess what? My fucking Excel document is filled with fucking addresses and numbers that are going to be getting fucking books, Mike. And that's more than you can fucking say.
Yeah, guys, this is a big thing. J-Jack says here that they don't understand, the anti-CG characters don't understand that each small creator has a small following, but if they all get together, that small following grows the numbers. It's true. I've had a few people, not thousands, but I've had a few people say that the first book that they backed was College of the Dead in Comicsgate. They directly, straight up told me that. And I know they got their book. They got it when it was promised. It was a really well-written book, a really well-drawn book, and it was a really passionate creation for me, College of the Dead. I really want to get that book out, and I'm really thrilled that I was able to get it out. And I'm going to continue this series, and I'm working on writing the next one, College of the Dead Spring Break. It's going to be very, very cool, about spring breakers that don't heed the warnings about what seems to be a coming sickness that's affecting zombies. So we're going to see some of the creation of the zombie world, Karl, in College of the Dead Spring Break. I'm really excited, and I'm working on it, the story for it. These guys, I mean, look, it doesn't take a lot of effort to put numbers in a spreadsheet. What these guys don't understand is there's a thing called social proof. And it's like the anti-CG crowd are all anti-social. They don't understand that if Karl spends time with me this morning, then he's lending legitimacy to me. For anyone who respects and likes Karl, and Karl's work. Karl wouldn't spend his time with a fucking loser, excuse the language, but he wouldn't, nor would I, and anybody that's on each other's channels, we're all helping create credibility for each other. That's something people are supposed to know if they understand relationships, like, at all, is that, now I'm endorsing Karl, Karl's endorsing me, and we have all sorts of other people on our channel. I'm on the Wayncast channel all the time, a lot of times with Karl. All the creators that we bring on Wayncast and talk about their project. I had Skits on last night on my channel. Again, it was a small show, but it doesn't matter. It helped them, which then in turn helped me. And, it all goes around in a very positive, self-fulfilling loop. It's not a Ponzi scheme. It's not a negative thing. these guys, they'll say things like, "Oh, well, you know, it's a Ponzi scheme because one guy is supporting." Like, no, that's what people do. You know,
Yeah, or like the idea that everybody else backs each other's campaigns and that's how it gets up there. And like clearly because there's a number of backer counts, so it's like, well, how many times is everybody backing these books to get the numbers up? At the same time, even if that money goes through and we're all spreading it around, we will always lose money
you couldn't do
because
that. It's
Indiegogo takes money from us. It
Indiegogo
costs
takes
money.
Indiegogo takes a percentage of the fees. I mean,
It's the same thing as fucking Ethan super chats himself. It's like he
They take-
fucking loses most of that money to YouTube, you fucking idiot. But that's the problem. You were saying these guys are antisocial. They are like, it's so strange. You can't put out any sort of artistic statement or like allegory or metaphor or anything because they're so literal. Like they're so literal. And you know what? That's a fucking diagnosis.
yeah, that's
a diagnosis
super
of-
autism. Yeah.
It's insane. They have to take shit so fucking literal. It's like really antisocial, and they're like people that literally don't have friends. Like when they're saying shit, or it's like even the stuff of I always said like what I'll never say. I fucking what's the saying? Like I don't agree with everything he says. You know, like
Yeah.
when people say that I don't agree with everything he says, but
But he's always been nice to me.
I'm like, don't fucking. Why would anybody say that? Because that's fucking. That's capitulating to friendless weirdos. Like everybody has friends and they don't agree with everything they say. That's called being
Right.
a normal person.
Yeah.
Like, why would you ever utter that? Like, you
that's
fucking.
that's actually a good point.
So yeah,
Like,
it's like the people who do that shit. The people who are like, well, what about
Mhm.
this? He sang a song. Well, what about this? It's like you're a friendless weirdo. Like you're just a person that has never had friends. And then there's like weird schizo fucking goggly eyed fucking sex pests that live out of their mother's pockets. All these fucking crazy people, man.
I like the expression "sex pest." Anti-CG are literal like autistic
Fucking
Vulcan.
neckbeard hillbillies shooting up comic books and
I've
shit.
heard the reference to autistic, but not the reference to Vulcans. That's very good. I like that. I like the Vulcan reference. Yeah, I mean, like, look, it's not like we're all saying, "Oh, anybody who's Comicsgate is Mr. Fucking Cool." We've got all the friends in the world, and we're always out having a great time. But we do keep it positive. We are entertaining. We are pretty cool. We're making our comics happen. We're around. It's very for anybody thinking about like getting involved with Comicsgate or whatever. It's a great feeling to know that like there are 200-300 people that are going to be behind you that want to see you be successful with anything that you're passionate about doing. Literally anything. Mike could wake up in the morning with bless this mess and whatever and be like, okay, I've got hundreds of people, if not thousands of people that are wondering, Mike's got to think, is Mike going to be shipping his next book or not? Or when is he going to ship it? And he's got people asking him questions constantly. Where's my book? Where's my book? I've got people, Karl's got people, at least in the hundreds, if not more, who are happy to see whatever we post on Twitter, happy to be see the YouTube channel, happy to be like, DEATHSWORN 1, when's that coming out? I'm desperate for DEATHSWORN 2. I want to see what you got coming up. Actually, we got to talk about that too, and talk about the story. But it's a great feeling to just have those people that have got your back, and we all enjoy that. That's everybody's their own individual, but we all share in making these books together. So it's an incredible privilege, Karl. Thank God you found Comicsgate and you started working with us. And it's like, because it's so ridiculously lonely to be off there publishing your own book by yourself, trying to create interest in it any way you can, and sitting there on Kickstarter like, oh, I hope someone buys my book.
Yeah, that's the big difference with Comicsgate and all these other fucking people on their little clicks. In Comicsgate, it's like everybody has invested interest in everybody else's growth, whether it's a creator's channels, a creator's books, whether it's just a fan's channel or a fan's Twitter or any of this shit. Everybody wants growth. Everybody wants fucking it to be pumped up. And it's like you saw in that video, man. It's like those guys are failing. And they're failing fast. They're failing so fast. All their friends are jumping ship to fucking come over here, and they're trying to point out anything as a failure. Anything. It's like, okay, compare College of the Dead to the first book.
Yeah,
Doing better.
I mean that's
It's
the
far
first thing you
better.
have to get. First of all,
How many backers did you have on your last campaign?
College of the Dead, after 30 days and then a 30-day extension, had exactly 100 backers.
Okay, how many did it
And
have
it
at the
ended with,
end?
I think, well, let's take a look. I don't want to misinform. I don't want to be scheming and scamming here. Let's get the correct numbers. Correct numbers. College of the Dead comic book. All right. 209 backers up
Okay,
until
you're at
literally this month.
You're at like 150 something right now on the new one.
Let's take a look. See. Let's take a looky look. College of the Dead.
God, he's fucking has to fucking click out everything. Just change tabs.
Not just that. I gotta
It's
also
like
say,
fucking streaming with a
I gotta-
glacier.
I gotta say College of the Dead every time I change it too. That's important. Yeah, now it's 154 backers. Now that was also after being on Ethan's stream. And before that, it was 5,400 raised, and it was how many backers? Like 94 or something like that.
So
but
within like the first, even before going on Ethan's stream, within the first like 10 days, you already had half the amount of backers you did in the entire time that your first campaign was open.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
even just getting, if I could have in 30 days done as much as I did in 60 days, that would have been great. You know, it would have been a
But
substantial
it's not
improvement.
300,000, Adam. It's not 300,000. You're
Yeah,
failure.
obviously, it's not working. It's like, well,
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess I could look at and try and see, like, did anyone
See,
else?
that's the thing. That's why they look at it like that, because Mike is a little fucking commie. He's a little fucking parasite commie, and he was like slurping that fucking tit, man. Like he wanted that fucking money. Like he just was in for it to get that to get that pushback from everybody else, to get that handout. And now it's like he looks at everybody, no matter what level they work at, no matter what they try to do, no matter how they try to help, and he fucking he has to talk shit. Has to.
It's so insane because he established himself like so successfully and made himself an important part of that channel that gave Ethan, like, for Ethan's own plans, like some kind of comfort knowing that he had a relationship there with Mike. His audience knew Mike. They knew how to have fun together, and they knew how to make entertaining streams.
They knew how to make them entertaining. They knew how to fucking build reciprocity between him and a fucking audience, which is exactly what he doesn't know how to do on his own. He knew how to fucking turn him. Look, he was a heel. Like, that's the thing. You know the way sometimes you go out with your mates and you go out to the pub and there's that one fucking dry shite that you have to fucking rip the piss out of to get any fun out of.
Yeah.
That's what he was. That's what he was. And everybody knew how to rip the piss out of him to make him fun. You've seen it before. That's what happens when people come on and they have nothing to add. That's it. And you go like
and you know what? Ethan was like very accommodating, like beyond accommodating when he was doing that Hey Mike stuff, and Mike just didn't like it, but it was really funny. Even his kids were doing it to him, but it's like, all right, it really bothered him and made him, insecure or whatever it was. And they stopped it. It's like, all right, we'll kill something that really works for the show and makes you a ton of money, Mike, just because it makes you uncomfortable. And no, you shouldn't have to sacrifice any level of comfort for being on that show. It should always just be something you take from. Never like, all right, you know what? It's silly, but an embarrassing.
Yeah, no idea of reciprocity. Like
no investment.
Idea that
no investment.
It's
Everyone
like
else
some fucking humility.
Just a little. It's a little poking and a little embarrassment. Now that said, yeah, maybe to have like 1,000 people sending you dick pics constantly, then maybe that is a bit much. And you could say like, hey,
well, it was
Ethan,
fucking trees and it was mushrooms and it was like fucking rocks and shit that looked vaguely penis shaped.
Yeah, vaguely, but it was, oh god, it was so fucking funny. It was so funny, and it was wasted. It was really wasted on him because he
And
couldn't
again,
appreciate
it's
it.
like, what else does he bring? What else
He
does he
could
bring to it?
that could have
What
gotten
else
him
does he bring?
another.
What does he bring in what does he bring in humor? What does
Yeah.
he bring to it? It's like, yeah,
That-
if you're gonna fucking sit there and add nothing, you're gonna get fucking you're gonna get look. These are things that get
even if he was adding nothing, but he was part of the founders, so he was still treated amazingly
dude, I'm
well.
telling you. Well, there people have told me this. There was one moment that was before all this shit that soured people on mic.
Yeah.
Soured him on mic.
Educate.
And it was this
School me, brother.
moment where and people have talked about this and people have talked to me about this because I remember bringing it up and saying like, hey, like there's this one moment that and they were like, yeah, same for me. There was this one moment when they were doing the fucking Meg campaign thing, and Ethan was on stream and a bunch of people was on stream, and it was back in the days of Hangouts, and Ethan was already fucking pitching Meg like most of the stream and making a joke about it and everything. And then in comes Mike, joins the stream, and he's in the little corner, and Ethan jokingly goes, "Oh, see, Mike's here. Yeah, well, Meg isn't doing so good today." And then Mike in the little corner, he goes, "That's because you're not promoting it, Ethan." And that soured more people on Mike than anything fucking else. All the fucking canceling the hey Mike shit, canceling the jokes, canceling all that bullshit. That soured more people on him than that because people saw people. I think that was the first time people saw like, oh, you don't get it. You don't get what everybody else was.
Yeah, you don't get the joke. Like you do. You know, you kind of like if you talk back, that's fine, but you got to fucking do it in fun. Ooh, someone who is, I don't know if I agree with them, but they say Karl's very smart.
No.
Karl is very smart. No,
I don't see that. That guy's not in the chat. Where was that comment?
Oh, that's on Periscope something. Like this is on Periscope also through Twitter.
I was like, what?
Yeah.
I was wondering what that thing was. I was like, does he have his location on his fucking name or something?
Very sneaky. Guys, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and that's a huge help too for me because I'm trying to get up to 1,000 subs ASAP, and we could do a regular morning show with Karl, hopefully as regular as possible, and have a lot of fun every day. We're just trying to get it and put it all together, make it happen. But yeah, like when you're part of something, you sacrifice something, but you get back a lot in return. And honestly, like that is what a relationship is. You give up a little bit of something, but then you get something back in return. And it's about like you have relationships with people where you can have that kind of relationship, you know, where you can benefit from it. It doesn't mean you give $1 and you take 100. It means you give something that's not that big a deal, but you have to invest something of you in it. And then if it's with the right person, it's like, oh my God, you just gave up this little thing, but you got all that in return. Lone Star 3 could be at $300,000 today on Indiegogo. Could be. 2 could have shipped already. 3 could be at 300,000. They could have been laughing it up and having a great time when Ethan was launching Cyberfrog Wreck Planet, and just having an awesome time of it and building Comicsgate. But
that's
Mike
one of the
would return
with these guys and how they fucking had they they always insult like the big books, and they insult like even he was going after Ethan's artwork and stuff, saying he's not a good artist and shit. And it's like these guys look at those big campaigns and they say that it's not representative of like a merit, like it's not good, and it only gets that much because of this reason, because of that reason, because of that reason. And then they put up their stuff which they claim is good, like they claim is deserving of the fucking merit, and it doesn't do anything. So it's like, well, then what is it? Like, what is it then? Like, is it merit, or is it because of he says this and he says that and he does this? It's like, what is it then? Maybe it's just because you fucking everybody that came to champion, most of the people that came to champion you when you were at your lowest have been fucked over by you. Maybe it's that.
Oh my Lord. Tom invested $280 Lone Star 2. Well, it may still come, and no matter what, it's going to be a lesson. As that's a positive thing. But Tom, your support is incredibly appreciated. Just that you're supporting independent creators at all, so it's amazing for you to do that. It's really appreciated. And Peter is a huge supporter. Guys, it's really appreciated. And who knows what's going to happen with his projects? Maybe he's going to learn his lesson and come back to respect and appreciate, or at least follow some of the instructions.
You could do it. It's pretty fucking easy. It's like Malin always says, man. There's hearts and minds to win over. That's it. That's all you have to do. And like you kind of take aspects of your personality and you stretch it out a bit and you do it. And
a
lot of the time I try to keep my fucking streaming for those things that are running around my head that I want to fucking shout at people, but I keep it for the stream. But it's it's like, yeah, man, you can easily just win people over, but you're not playing that game. You're really not playing that game at all. And,
look at this freaking talent, Aaron L. Fetchy. Aaron's amazing. Aaron started with Comicsgate before, actually, I think the full association with Comicsgate was made through the Comic Replicator, and that was actually made at a loss replicator. He lost a little money, Rob was telling us. And he said it on stream, nothing, no big secret. But he was really passionate about making great comics. He found Aaron on Facebook because of a gorgeous Jack Kirby piece that Aaron did. And Aaron did the first issue. And then word got out about Aaron. And then he got snapped up by your boy Zach to make, I don't know, what was it? Jawbreakers. I'm trying to remember all the titles. And now he's working on Jawbreakers and Expendables. But the thing of that is like, you know what? Rob is happy for Aaron, and it benefits Aaron's success, benefits Comicsgate. And now we have Rob closer to Comicsgate because of his work with Aaron. So one thing feeds another, Everyone's successful. Everyone keeps building, keeps growing. And Aaron's doing tremendous work, which is great for all of Comicsgate. It makes us all look fantastic. And it's also putting money in Zach's war chest, so Zach can do more comics. Zach doesn't have to worry like, oh, am I going to do this book or that book? Zach can start at this point probably as many great looking projects with great talent as he wants to. And Aaron is one of the reasons why. And so is Replicator, but so is Karl, and so is Adam Post, because we've been investing in building up Comicsgate, a place that makes all these pieces fit together and supports each other. What does Justin say? He usually says, oh, but to now he says, all us Irish are geniuses. That's why they killed so many of us, Rabbi Adam. Okay, well, let's not kill any more Irish. They're pretty cool. Crowdfunding is sometimes like an investment. Sometimes you lose. That happens with any business. We go around visiting restaurants and some suck. Yeah, that's true. You can spend $100 at a bad restaurant or even more, but not today because most of them are closed, thanks to the thing that's going around, that little flu. Yeah. Well, what is this? Can I ask what even got Smiller and Methy talking about me? Yeah, let's.
Because he didn't make fucking 300,000 on his book in the first day. That's why.
Yeah, they're just desperately looking at Comicsgate sales, trying
because
to
they
out.
think that Comicsgate should be like some communist fucking regime where it's equal distribution, because then Mike would be able to ship his books.
Yeah, that's like, I'm listening to these guys, and Edwin has said this before, and I see these guys parrot this as like, well, the numbers are lower on this year's books of this because there are this many Comicsgate books, and there are too many books, and they're competing with each other. It does not work that way at all. Like not even in the littlest way.
Yeah, everybody is always bringing in new people, and it's each and everybody else's responsibility to fucking grow that. See, that's the thing. These people think of it as purely this group, like in complete group thinking. It's like, no, dude. It's like everybody has to go out and do their fucking work. Some people are far better at promoting than other fucking people. Like Jesus Christ, man. Look at guys like Vaughn. Look at anybody. These guys,
Vaughn is a beast. He's out there promoting like a madman. Like,
yeah, and he just
stop
grabs people, man, and look at Raging Golden Eagle. You know, I
Yeah.
was on a 24 hours live stream when he launched, and it's like nearly everybody in his chat, his YouTube fans, were saying, "This is my first book. This is my first Comicsgate book.
Yeah.
This is my first Indiegogo book. This is my first thing."
Oh yeah.
And it's like, it's not like they're suddenly in the pile and now they fucking go and buy everybody else's book. It's like, it's up to each and every person on their own to grab that person and bring them in. That's
Yeah.
it.
And we all
That's
do it
exactly what Mike fails at. Like, that's exactly what he fucking sucks at.
Yeah, you're pretty great at it because I don't really know anybody who doesn't say that they love Karl Rowe. Maybe your neighbors or something. This was just I'm just gonna play this, just a 30-second video. This is Mike and Edwin talking smack about College of the Dead.
From all appearances, he's doing all the things that Comicsgate says to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
Makes all those videos. He goes on all the live streams. And he's only got 90 backers.
That's the power of Comicsgate, Edwin. I'm sorry. I'm quoting Ethan.
Should be apologizing.
Ask us
From all
Should be apologizing.
Bless
Idiot.
this mess. Bless this mess. 5,000. Oh, wait, sorry. That's euros. He has 5,000 euros of a 9,000 euro goal, and he has 104 backers, and he has 37 hours to go.
I mean, I hope he gets funded, but the whole point is like, so what? I mean, how's that going to pay the bills? He needed a lot more than that anyway. That's not going to cover the bills. It's not going to get the book. I assume he's going to do everything he promised to do. So I'm not making any accusations. It's just, that's not a big campaign one way or another. And even if
he's a big brain, Mike is big brain. He knows he's right about everything. Don't worry about it. He has books that are completely finished that he's not shipping out for no reason. But he's big brain and he has everything sorted out. And you're not to worry about this guy at all.
Yeah, he's even learning how to color. The guys were saying that he's learning how to color, and they're thinking like, you know what? Maybe this is because he's got an issue with paying colorists.
No. You know what the issue is that it's like always with Mike. It's never his fault, Adam. Everybody else lets him down. Everybody.
You want to know
Colors,
something?
letters,
That attitude,
everything.
guys, that is horrific. That attitude of it's never my. If you're in charge, everything is your fault. Rain is your fault. When you take on responsibility, everything is your fault. And the thing is, you need to just communicate with people about it, and then they'll be cool. You just need to tell people what's going on and figure out how you're going to solve it. But you can't play victim when there are problems. You can't be doing that. That's not what a leader does. That's not what somebody can do and get things done. That's an indulgence, being a victim. And that's in life too. You can't just sit around like, oh, well, these people did this to me, that happened to me. It's like, no, you got to make something of yourself. And we've all had, stories of tragedy and stuff like that. And, and Mike's got his issues and whatever the hell he's got going on. But the thing is, you go and you ask for help with those issues if you need help. And you have friends you can go to, they'll help. And to some people, it's like, you know what, whether it's an issue of money, time, I've offered, I could have helped Mike with whatever his situation is with Lone Star 2, because I've been in every possible situation as a comic book publisher that anybody could ever be in. Lone Star, except that he keeps ruining his reputation. Lone Star 3 could have been a bigger book than Lone Star 2. There's no reason it can't be. But he's got to be straight with people. He's got to retain reputation because there's value in the Lone Star brand, but he's killing it with this terrible behavior. You can negotiate with printers. You could be honest with backers. You could be honest with your other creators or contributors if you need to. He's got a crossover with John Malin in this thing, apparently. He could ask John for you could do 1,000,001 things except be a dick and act like the way he's acting and then make it work out. You can't do that. Can't do that. And if you're in charge, the buck stops with you. Well said, Optimus. It's absolutely true. If you're in charge, everything is your responsibility. You need to make things happen. That's what being in charge is all about. And if you tell people like, okay, I'm having a problem from one reason or another, you can tell them that and communicate with people and things can get solved. But not what these guys are doing. So yeah, they were talking about me because they're trying to find a way to say like, well, Power Comicsgate's a failure. I had not even been on Ethan's show. I'd been on Ethan's show, but we were launching Cyberfrog on Sunday. That was my attitude, was I was there to help Ethan launch Cyberfrog, not sell College of the Dead, even though the campaign was running on Sunday. That wasn't what I was there to do. He put a link out. He obviously he wanted whoever could come in to come in and just kind of be around and just be another person on a stream trying to contribute. And if he ever does that, I do that. If any of my friends ever do that, put a link out like that, I do that. If Karl sees a link and he can make it, and he's 6 hours later, so there's all sorts of stuff going on overseas over there, but Karl is always there, and that's what people do. And we want to be known as those guys that you can count on us. Adam, Arch City Adam, Arch City Comics, Adam #2, I call him, the other Adam. He did the same thing. I had a stream I wanted to do the other day, and he was like, he had some stuff going on, but he was like, he saw there was a link there, and he's like, okay, I need to be there. I got to help Adam out. I don't want him going on having to go on himself and fucking everything up. Excuse the language. No, but going on and it's not having another person to talk to, which makes the streams much more fun when you have another person. But yeah, Lone Star 2, it could still be a success. Lone Star 3, 4 could be successes. I told Mike a year ago I liked his idea for Atomic Family. That was cool. That's a very classic story. They could have done something like that, but it's like
played out and boring. It's a book for 40-year-olds.
All right, but some of us with money are 40 plus. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Yeah, he could probably make it more interesting. Maybe his writing isn't fantastic. His art is solid enough, but it's not inspired. But you know what? You could also find that your creativity in socializing with other creative people. Comicsgate is an incredibly creative place. People do make cool creative suggestions. And when you just open up and trust people a little bit, they can tell you things and get you better at what you're doing and up your game and make a better book. So, that's what we're here to do. We're here to just make great comics and help build the precious thing that we have. And Karl, you've been hearing about what's going on with comic stores are freaking the F out now. It's not just Safe Space anymore. It's not just the new Terrible Warriors or the American Chavez coming back. They don't know. Larry's Comics .net put out a tweet the other day, and I was messaging with him a bit. I guess he's a big store. I don't know if he's in California, but he's a big retailer. He was just mentioning, I can pay for my books this week, but beyond that, he doesn't know what he's going to do. And you would think that the big publishers would have their back a little bit.
No, why? They don't make money from stores. They make money from Diamond.
Yeah, but
they don't care. No, CB Cebulski, why would he look out for comic book stores in his, hometown, New York, where there's multiple huge chains of comic book stores around blocks, when he can promote Chinese and Japanese takeaway restaurants on his Twitter? Why would he care? And then he can mute people that try to promote independent comics in his fucking feed. He can hide their replies because, nothing comes before CB and his gut. Nothing.
I have no
idea.
idea.
Not even comics.
I have no idea how to change between tabs. You'll have to show me one day because it just doesn't seem to work for me.
You're opening up windows instead of just screen sharing your screen or whatever.
All right. Maybe one day I'll do that. Yeah, this is Larry. So Larry was saying, was this yesterday? If a comic shop gets paid for their product, the distributor, publisher, the creator gets paid. What if comic shops can't pay? This isn't the LCS in peril. Okay, the local comic store. It's the comic book industry in peril. Now, I responded to Larry, that comic book publishers can take losses and they will assume losses. But the thing people, aside from major comic book publishers being owned by major companies, where it's all right, it's just a write-off, $3 million, $8 million, $30 million. It kind of doesn't matter. Aside from that, I guess maybe one good thing is that when there was a big distributor shakeup in the mid-1990s, the comic book publishers, the major guys, changed their relationship with Diamond comic distributors. Now, this may have changed since then, but back then what they did was, instead of sharing a big percentage of the profits and then having the distributor have to collect from the retailer, and the distributor assumed all the financial risk, all the terms began to be set by the major publishers like Marvel and DC and Image, and Diamond took a much smaller slice of the profit because Diamond did make millions and millions when Image was big in the early 90s. And comics were huge, selling 1 million copies, making like 5% of retail of that, like just making huge amounts of money. But in any case, so the major publishers started to take on the risk of, if an invoice wasn't collected, then it wouldn't be the distributor that was responsible. It would be the store, but it would also be like the publisher themselves would have to pay. Now, a small publisher like Peter Simeti, Diamond is actually buying and reselling those books. So people are going to be canceling. I hope everything's okay for Peter Simeti, and Peter's going to be, he's a hardworking guy. He has a lot of direct-to-consumer business, but I don't know how his retailer customers are going to survive and pay for his books, because Peter can't absorb a loss like that. And Peter's creators can't absorb a loss like that. So what Larry responded with was distributors, employees, and creators, and more employees. So he paid his bill this week, and he can see in a day or two, not too far future, that he just can't.
Yeah,
So,
I saw that there was some other franchise in the States, comic book store franchise, that shut down permanently.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a business anymore. So this is, I asked him, as Diamond, because Diamond's like the direct comic book store distributor, reached out with any kind of plan to help the shops, at least to let you know they'll be working with major publishers on it, because they could. Like I was saying here, they could offer temporary returnability. I saw something from Image that Don DeLay posted. It was interesting. Donald DeLay posted, and it had said that Image was going to offer like some returnability on some of their comics. But of course, that directly affects creators, because it's creators that are paying to make their books at Image, not Image Comics Inc. So you got Robert Kirkman, and good for him for all his success, and Todd McFarlane for all his success from Image. But these guys got to think about maybe giving a little bit of money back or helping their industry if they want to still sell to stores, because it's no joke. There have been times like hurricanes and stuff where there were problems with shops, but actually Diamond did reach out. I'm going back again to the 1990s, a long time ago, but they did reach out. It's the same owner, Steve Jeppy, and tell shops, hey, we'll work with you. And I haven't heard of them doing that. I hope they are, and it's just I haven't heard of it yet, because I'm not a retailer and I'm not selling through Diamond, so I wouldn't necessarily know. But Twitter keeps you pretty informed. So Larry here is saying, let's call it week 1. If it reaches week 6 with current terms, the direct market is done. Yeah, he's right. How could this go on? I mean, it was already collapsing. It was already failing. Stores were already struggling, getting a lot of unsaleable product. They don't have one Karl O'Rowe passionate about their books going through the direct market at this point. I mean, maybe there's one, and they're just getting
yeah, but there's also just stuff with the direct market now where there's lots of shit that's changing that no one kept up for. I don't think you can just pump out the same style comics that they've been pumping out. I don't think a monthly comic that is just a monthly comic is good enough anymore. And especially to grow with this audience, maybe the old school people that are grown into this thing. Like when I'm making DEATHSWORN, I'm not competing with Marvel Comics. I'm competing with the new Doom game,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
And it's not necessarily, I'm competing in style and in presentation, but I'm not competing with them directly, because I'm like, hey, there's millions of people that love Doom.
No, you
compliment it. There's a huge, there's a huge crossover over there, and they should fucking bring that. They should definitely bring into that tons of stuff like that. So that's where I'm looking at, and that's where people should be focused on. And then they do the shit where they're like, let's do kid comics, let's do IDW kid comics, and it's like, we'll make a comic book line for 10-year-olds, and it's like, yeah, that's exactly what 10-year-olds don't want. They don't want books for 10-year-olds. That was why when you were like, everybody, it's like these people forget what they were into. When you were 10, reading comics, you weren't into fucking pussy fucking Archie comics. You looked at that shit and you were like, this is fucking lame. I want fucking Wolverine, Sylvester Wolverine slicing people up. I don't want fucking this bullshit. I want, like, I remember shit like being a kid and seeing the cover to that issue of Hush where Robin, there's like a giant zombie Robin ghostly floating in the sky and Batman is running out in front of it. And it's like when you're seeing the decaying corpse of Robin, you're like, that is what I fucking want. That's what kids want. So it's like they just don't know what they're trying to complement and they don't know what they're trying to compete with. And there's no comic book out there that complements anything that people are into right now. Like nothing, you know. That's the same. That's the shit with the shows. The shows they like the TV the movies as well. They're not even being fucking they're not even being trailblazers like the New Warriors. They're everything that the Marvel puts out is to complement what other people are doing better than them. You know, it's like when
they have their own
Marvel, yeah, but it's like when the fucking Marvel movies made when the Marvel movies made Thanos the big bad guy, it was like, okay, all the Marvel comics made Thanos the big bad guy for like 10 years. For 10 years, it was Infinity Gauntlet this, Infinity Saga this, Infinity fucking Wars this, Infinity. They even fucking just had the whole fucking Max series just called Infinity. Like, that's the... They're not even leading the cause. They're being complimentary to how better other people are doing their shit, and they're not standing up to it. Like, look at some of the colors, look at some of the artwork, look at all the shit that they're putting out, look at the designs of characters, and then compare that to what the majority of people think Marvel is, which is the movies. Does it complement it? No. It's like Marvel Comics doesn't fucking exist anymore. They don't fucking matter anymore.
Well, they haven't.
Culture.
They haven't for years, and they've been living off of the old energy for decades, and eventually it wears out. It's like when Marvel, is remaking all the movies, utilizing some of the coolest story arcs from the original comics, and then it's like, well, yeah, but you're not making anything else good, so there's nothing new that's good. And I think they're just trying to destroy it. I just think they're trying to destroy comics as an art form. I think that's
like, well, I think that when I listen to interviews and from creatives from like every aspect, right? Like I listen to them, video game creators. I listen to like them being interviewed about how they went about making games, their attitude behind it, all that shit, movies, all this stuff. You can take so much from them and compare it to it because it should be compared to, because that's what you want, right? It's like, look at the video game audience. You have millions of people buying and playing any kind of game, multiple games. They love the characters, and that's all artwork. Like everything in a game is art. So when these people are dedicating fucking hours a day to experience these things, they're doing it because there's an appeal to it. They like the art. They're actually like, they're engaging in a form of worship of this art form, which is like all this shit is sculpted, all this shit is designed, all this shit is made to be commercial, made to have appeal. And you have to look at shit like that. Look at the flat coloring in a lot of comic books nowadays. Look at how flat it is, how there's no atmosphere. There's no mood. And then you look at the lighting in video games, and it has flares, it has dust particles, it has all this mood. They do all this extreme lighting. They can do it very easily because they're just showing it onto models and rendering it real time. That's the shit comics have to be looking at. That's the shit that you're competing against, but you're not competing against in the marketplace because they're two different markets. But when it comes to how you present what you have, that's what your competition is. It's not fucking comics. It's not that shit. It's everything else that these people are engaging in. And if you want to grow the audience, that's where you have to hit. You don't put out fucking when you're putting out they should buy a license for this shit. They should be buying the licenses for God of War, for Doom, for all that stuff. And don't put out trash. Don't put out a Burger King licensed
You know
fucking
what's
shit
amazing is
comic.
they have the money. They don't need to. You know, if they had any desire to make good stuff, they could make good stuff. That's
Well,
how I
they
look at
could
it. Like,
make something like it, even. You
you know what?
like
A lot of the people that have made the great stuff, like they're still around. Even you could just hire them and give them money, and they'll do it again. You know, they'll make it. By the way, guys, Joe, there's Vinny. Hey, Vin, Joe just joined on the stream, and he said he's having a hard time finding it. I guess YouTube did not send out the notifications, so definitely please share the stream. Be a huge help. Karl is amazing today, as always, kicking ass here with me. Just kind of going over all of the craziness from it was a ridiculous off base comments from Mike and Edwin. And yeah, the big companies could be making such amazing stuff now, and with the promotion of comics in mass media now, they could be doing miracles. But it's as if they're concerned, like just they don't want people liking anything that's cool. They want people just to see it and think it's a joke. And comics used to be a joke. You know, we had to fight that. People always thought comics were just for kids. That was for like
that was
forever.
the difference. That was the fucking difference. Was because the people that knew how badass it was you were the only people who were into it, you know? And that's the reason why Comicsgate works so much. It's because it's given that back to the people who are being pushed out. The people who are being pushed out of the hobby are the people who suffered through that shit, are the people who were wearing the fucking t-shirts and singing its praises before your fucking granny knew who Groot was. Now your fucking granny can wear a fucking Guardians of the Galaxy t-shirt that was mass produced by Bangladeshi street children. And it's nothing. It means fucking nothing now because it's just a fucking joke that a giant conglomerate can fucking sell to a communist country. That's fucking it. And we're fucking bringing back the exclusivity. We're bringing back the clubhouse mentality, the fucking punk. People worry. Like I've seen it with people are worrying about what people think about Comicsgate and stuff. And they're like, we should get some good press out there, get some places to write some good articles about us. And it's like, no, because it's about people coming through that. It's about people coming past that, hearing the bullshit and going, fuck that, man. That's not what it's about. It's about like doing these great books and actually make it something that people want to carry and champion and fucking bring true and wear the t-shirt, you know, like that's what Comicsgate is. Don't take the studs off our fucking leather jackets, you know. That's what makes us cool.
We don't have to go glossy and mainstream. There's enough of us out there, YouTube, social media, especially with all the amazing backers we have, that they can get the word out. They can share it to other people. They can say, hey, check out DEATHSWORN, check out College of the Dead. You know, look at what Ethan's doing with Cyberfrog. You know, check out the next Graveyard Shift coming in June. And these are the real deal. These are the good comics. These are the cool stories. You know, every time we do stuff, we're always looking at how do we do it better next time. And we definitely care about making money. We're about making money and making our art and our creative works, but we're also about just making it cool. And we also know we can't sacrifice anything. You know, you don't get to print on cheaper paper. You know, you don't get to not care if the book design isn't good, because we deal direct with our consumers, and it hurts us, and it would hurt our credibility. Dude, you know, with our friends.
That's one of the big things I love, man. Book design. I'm telling you, the way I'm designing the pages of DEATHSWORN, like the in between pages, the back matter pages, all that stuff, like the overall design, everything flows together. Like the trading cards match the same design principles that goes into the credits and all that stuff of the book. And I'm telling you, the way I'm presenting it, because I'm presenting it with the attitude of fucking DEATHSWORN, I'm presenting it with that make comics rage again fucking attitude, that I would not be able to get away with it if I brought that to a fucking another publisher. If I brought that to someone else, was like, this is the way I'm doing it. I'm going to make it look ripped up and scratchy and angry. I'm going to make it look like someone took an axe to my pages. And they'd be like, no, we have to just do a blank gray, and we'll take a image that you already made. We'll put it in white and we'll put opacity over it and a gradient, and then we'll put the credits on. It's like, no.
Fuck no. That's not
Like,
good enough.
we have to maximize readability. And it's like, no, I want the credits should look like they're carved into a fucking wall. They shouldn't look like fucking text. What are you talking about?
Yeah, we're on the book design now, which, really it's going to take as long as it takes. My book is done. So I have the luxury of, if I want to take a month to get the book design right, well, I can do that. We've got the time to do it. I'm using J.J. Jackson, who worked at Marvel with Jim Shooter and then worked at Valiant and helped them do their initial color design. She's done a lot of logos. She's done all of my logos. She's done logos for Marvel, and she did logos for Valiant, and then went with Jim Shooter to Defiant, and we just became friendly in the 1990s. But yeah, I give her all my freelance design stuff because she's really creative and really amazing and a great communicator to work with. So, and I don't wait. I love not wasting freelancers' time. I love I'm not wasting anyone's time, which means, give me stuff broken down, let me approve it at different early stages, and and then we approve, the near final and the absolute final. But then they also, like, JJ has lots of other friends in the industry, so she reaches out to people and gets feedback on anything that we're doing that's new, that's creative, and that's what you can love the end product of the work when people are that careful about doing it. I want to play the trailer for College of the Dead. Ted Zagaro spent 2 weeks working with me on this, and it was minor tweaks, but just to get the damn thing right, and to be something that, like Ethan was saying last night, it makes you feel like you're in a zombie movie. That's the whole idea. And you get a sense of the story too. It's really cool.
Hired up.
So audio there?
Audio up. Hire it up. It's there, but just hire it up.
No audio, Karl?
Hire it up.
Oh, hire it up.
Yeah, the audio is really low.
Was it? Probably I didn't share the audio.
No, you did share the unless you're playing it through your laptop or something.
God only knows. But that's a high standard. That's what I want to do. I'm not going to do another book. I'm not going to do College of the Dead book 3 or introduce another book and have it not be at that level. There's no excuse for it. There's no reason to do that. If you deliver for people, they get excited about the work, and you sell more books, and it takes care of itself. That's why, it really doesn't matter. As long as you deliver your promises to your backers, you won. You're doing great. You're doing fantastic. As far as this campaign's going now, I have plans. There's another idea I had for a variant cover. There's a couple of other things I want to do special with this campaign that I'm figuring out over the next couple days, but everything has to be just right. We'll do other cool things with the campaign. Just the main thing is, are we delivering for people? Is it good? Are people excited about it? Are they happy about it? And then what can I keep doing better? Because that's the thing with Comicsgate, you get immediately rewarded for it. Karl, you're really, really passionate, but you don't have to just be like home being passionate. You're doing it on YouTube. You're doing it on social media. You're getting immediate responses. I'm sure you've been on streams before where people just backed the hell out of DEATHSWORN while you were on there right after you got off of it. Because people see, so your energy doesn't get wasted. There's nothing like it, man. There's nothing like not having your energy wasted, being able to contribute something and then have it just build. So
yeah,
we're on it,
even if it's that's the thing that people don't get. It's like, you go on small channels, you go on channels that you probably don't get anything from, and it's because you're building it. You're building back all this shit, and a lot of the big guys do that too. You know, I always see John Mayle popping around on things, and he'd be, or even in the chats of things. Ethan does it. Ethan was on that Clayton guy's channel and everything. You know, it's you're spreading around. You know, you're helping build everybody, and you
Yeah.
know, it's like, not to say it like fucking, it's a performance to use that word, but that's kind of what it is. And if you do something good on one show, then people spread it around. People look at it. People go, "Holy shit!" You know.
Yeah, what I didn't know, Carl, was that when I got involved with Comicsgate, like how many people, even like with the small YouTube shows, first of all, are also customers. They back your book, so they do. But beyond that, like the people that it may be, 10 people watching or 30 people watching or even 4 people watching, doesn't matter. They're influencers. There are people who have their own channels too. So you're really like doing,
Have their own channels, have their own Twitters, have all their own shit that they
yeah,
share this stuff around for, and that's priceless, you know, because it's not a fucking paid. It's more important than a fucking Facebook ad. You know, that shit brings in more people than a Facebook ad ever could. Just people sharing out the link, liking YouTube, sharing out the YouTube links, sharing out the Indiegogo links, all that stuff. It means way more than a fucking Facebook.
Oh yeah,
Facebook
I don't know.
page.
Have
Because
you
a
ever?
Facebook thing, a Facebook advertisement or an Instagram advertisement, they might get you in front of more people, but it doesn't mean that they fucking care.
Oh, they definitely do not care.
And when someone, just a regular normal person, starts sharing out stuff and goes, "Hey, I actually care about this. I really like it, and I can't wait to get it in my hands," that means that it's almost a fucking 100% increase on business than fucking anything Facebook or this bullshit can offer you.
Well, it's true. Like, there's something called
Or fucking Ben Shapiro.
You know what? It bothers me when people give out bad business advice because it hurts people. So like for creators, like, if you're going to be in the business, you're going to make more than one book. You kind of have to, like Von Klaus is a good example. He made, 70,000 plus on Monster MD. It's successful. People are offering him other, freelance work and things like that. It's not even his full-time thing, I don't think. And he's working on other projects. But you can't make a living from one book to doing $74,000 or whatever it did. You can't. There's expenses involved, but also, like, even if it was all profit, that would be 1 year. All right. So you've got to make more books. So the point is, there's a concept in business called like cost of customer acquisition, which is just basically finding backers, finding people that you can service, finding people that, are interested in the kind of things that you make that will hopefully buy from you more than once. And that's the whole idea, is not to just like try to find a hustle of some kind of like, all right, if I can find 1,000 people that'll each give me $40 and then I could ship this and like I can make a little money on this. It's like, no, it's invaluable to have. I love the 100 initial backers. Like, those guys made me in this business. 100 initial backers that fully funded College of the Dead book 1, which I was a little nervous about. It didn't really get funded until like the last day, even though it was a flexible campaign. Still, I wanted to hit my number because I wanted to go in demand, which I was right, because if I hadn't hit my goal and I had like 47.89 or something like that in revenue and I couldn't go in demand, then I couldn't have sold another $5,000 worth on top of it. Plus, I would have been a loser because I didn't hit my number. But
you didn't do a flexible goal this time, right?
No way. No.
Yeah,
I would
don't ever
never do that
goals.
again. Would never do a
flexible
goals.
Don't mean shit. It means people are less likely to trust you if you do a flexible goal. People think it's like, well, I'm going to get a book anyway. It's like, no. Fucking people know what goes into making these fucking things and shipping them out. You know?
Yeah,
people
exactly.
aren't just going to give up money because you're like, I really like to.
Yeah,
I don't know if I can, but I'd like to.
If we can raise some money. And then also, don't be greedy. Your fixed goal ends at $3,000. If you need more than $3,000 to make your book, go 2 things. One, build a bigger platform. You need, Sweetcast said it. He did it really effectively. And you have the other expert in email marketing. Sweetcast said, you better not launch without 300 names on your email list. If you don't have 300 names on an email list of people that signed up that want to be notified when your campaign launches, your pre-launch list, you got a problem. Like, do not launch. Sweetcast says go build that list. My take on it is you could do with less, and you can make it go with less. You better not have less than 100, or I will personally come to your house and rearrange your furniture. Okay. That's
I'd
actually
say that as well.
that's a
Don't,
sneak.
don't,
It's a
don't,
sneak.
don't, don't, don't.
The
I
sneaky
saw
mafia.
I saw some campaign that were saying like, when we get 100 signups, we're gonna launch, and it's like, no,
Not
don't.
enough, really. It really isn't enough. You need to
No,
create
it really 300 is the
300
least.
signups.
If you're doing something like 3,300 is the least, and it expands differently. Guys like I think Raging Golden Eagle had something like 1,000 or something on his.
Yeah,
on
but
his sign up.
of course, on Raging Golden Eagle, he has his people are really passionate. He's got
But the other
really
thing is,
passionate
it's also
following.
like, how are you getting people in on your fucking mailing list? A lot of people, they're not doing anything with it, or they just do discounts, and it's like, yeah, well, that's not enough. You have to offer something more, offer something else, extra exclusive for that. Bring people in,
Yeah. Now,
because if they're coming for less, they might not even want the fucking standard. But if they're coming for more, then you know that they're gonna want the fucking standard. So don't
Karl,
offer less, offer more.
Guys, I'm gonna
If
hit
they want
Karl.
more, they'll go for less.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt, because you're actually educating literally all of us right now. All I was going to say was, I'm going to hit you up next time when I'm planning my next thing, and hopefully you have the time to talk to me about, like, all right, Adam, here's what you got to do, and but the thing about you is you're right about everything that you talk about. So I always say, like, Karl's always right, because Karl stays in his fucking lane, and he knows what he knows, and he doesn't talk about shit he doesn't know about. He'll tell you how he feels about something. But if Karl's given advice about something, he's done the homework. He knows that shit. So that's why I'm always like, so just listen to Karl and then just do what Karl says. In that realm, he freaking knows. And then when it's an aesthetic choice, or again, just something he feels like, he makes it clear. And then maybe you take the advice, maybe you don't. But you don't blow off Karl's advice about marketing. You don't blow off Karl's advice about the brand aesthetic of your property. Figuring out, what is your book all about? What are you all about? How do you connect with that when you're selling it and talking to people about it? And how you should really treat your mailing list like a fan club, and how you need to figure out how to build your audience. And how do you do it? You just look at what other people are doing. Particularly, go look at Karl's tweet history. That's your education. But after Karl and I talk about it, I'm going to share the information. I'll try to organize it in a way that, like, I could do it as a video, or maybe Karl come on and talk about it as well, whatever. Because this is the kind of thing, like, we could be launching a lot more successful campaigns if we just take this learned approach, and then we're just disciplined about how we're doing stuff. There's nothing wrong with, look, we're all creative people, but discipline is what makes your energy not get wasted. That's what we were talking before about Karl going on a stream, being passionate, and not just yelling in his apartment or something, yelling in his house and not having anybody know, like, where his passion is, what his dreams are. But, like, no, he can do it in the Comicsgate community, and then everybody winds up talking about you. Whoever you are.
Well, that's the important thing, is that you can talk over here. Like, people aren't going to try to fucking cancel you because you do talk. That's where all the mainstream and the people who want to stay in the mainstream's, like, good light, they know that they can't talk. They know that there's some things that they can't say, because they know that they have fucking grown this environment and stewed in this fucking environment full of vultures that want nothing more than to see their peers commit suicide.
The mainstream is the dead stream at this point. There's nothing there. There's nothing left. Occasionally you see something come through, whatever it is, but it's not supposed to be fucking occasional. It's supposed to be like the way Karl is the way people used to be about Marvel Comics in the 1980s. I'm 50 now, Jesus Christ, but I'm 50 now. That's how we felt about Marvel Comics in the 1980s. It wasn't, and the whole line of comics, that was when, like, they would do a Wolverine, but they would do it as like a limited series, not because they couldn't figure out, oh wow, if we have Wolverine as an ongoing series, that's not going to sell books, or Punisher as an ongoing series.
No, because they had fucking talent that wanted to tell this specific story, and they wanted to fucking make sure that talent was going to be on it for the whole run, and they were going to make it fucking iconic,
Yeah,
So that shit mattered back then. Now it's like, well, we might have to cancel it before we get to issue 4. So just call it limited.
yeah, well, it was inconceivable that you'd just be canceling titles left and right and relaunching with a #1. You didn't do that, and it's not because they couldn't think of doing that. They could figure that out. It's not that hard to figure out how to just bang out a bunch of #1s. I did a lot of that myself in the early 1990s because we didn't have the editorial discipline experience. You know, a lot of it was sold on Flash in the early days, and we really didn't know we were kids. We didn't know what we were doing. But the old guys at Marvel, like, they knew what the fuck they were doing. And they were protecting comics, and they were protecting the medium and improving the quality. They saved the industry with the direct market in the 80s. Now it's going to be us saving the industry with crowdfunding in whatever decades that we're in right now. Time is going to go fast, guaranteed. But yeah, I mean, they would never have thought. I remember I knew Jim Shooter on and off in the early 1990s. And one of the things we talked about was he was, pointing out to me, like, his point of pride, first of all, was that they had readers, people that were interested in their stories at Valiant 1.0, not just that people were buying them for speculation. He was fine with people buying copies, but he wanted to make sure he always had a high percentage of, as high a possible percentage of real readers, people that really cared about the characters and the stories, to speculators. And he would talk about lowering their cover prices if sales continued to improve. And, we were industry people. We were all shocked. Like, why would you lower your cover prices? You'll get less money that way. And he's like, well, the idea is you always want more readers, and you always want people that care about your characters, and you never want to lose a reader. If you can get a reader, you keep that backer, you keep that reader, you keep that person who's invested in what you're doing forever. Never a thing about what Jim Shooter's politics were. Jim Shooter's, he definitely had an ego. He had big shoes to fill, being the Stan Lee of his company and what he had to do. But it was something where even when it was all about him, it was all about him as a writer and editor-in-chief and his vision for the comics, never his own personal vision of religion or other SJW progressive ideas or other garbage like that. It was always just, about telling really good stories. And there was one other thing that he told me that two other things I was really impressed with. One other thing was his line at Valiant, like, they sold consistently, like plus or minus like 20%, meaning that there's some books that might have sold 40,000, other books that would sell like 60,000, whatever. But roughly speaking, people would buy the whole line. And that was the goal, was sell the Valiant. Valiant should mean something as a company. And that all of the books, when you bought a Valiant book, would have some type of common aesthetic, even though they had different stories. And that's what the uniform, unique coloring was about that they were doing, their unique form of storytelling. And also the carefulness of always shipping on time. Valiant 1.0 is like the only one of all of the companies, Marvel, all of them included, independents, that always shipped on time. They leveraged their studio to do that, but they leveraged a lot of work all night things to always keep the promise to the readers, always keep that promise. And they were very, very successful. The main problem that they had was greed came in with the partners, and they couldn't keep it going because of just ownership and control of the company. So that's why it's just vital that everybody controls their own work when you're publishing your own work. We may not build a universe like Valiant, or whatever, with continuity and all of that. And maybe we will, we'll see. But the things that we do in Comicsgate, respecting the fans, keeping our personal stuff out of it, our personal beliefs out of it. And if we're going to be egotistical, Karl could tell you, he's the best DEATHSWORN artist that there is, because he is. But we could be even more egotistical about our work if we're proud of what we're doing. That's completely fine to just brag about how great we are at what we're doing, and letting people enjoy and love it. That's cool. It's just not this egotistical stuff that's outside the panels. You should never know what's going on. You don't need to know what's going on in people's personal lives and things like that. It's not necessary.
Yep.
We are beautiful bastards. Well, Karl, I want to give you a chance to get your work done. Chaos Nation's asking, does anybody know who is anyone who's sick. Charlie's London has it. It looks like, and she's doing okay. She's in Comicsgate, and she's recovering from it. I don't know of anybody else in Comicsgate that's been sick. I did get a message, text while we were talking that apparently, as I've been warning all my friends in New York, they're going to shut down New York. So rather than going food shut, yeah.
That is going to fucking, man, that's going to kill some business.
Yeah, I don't know. Now, it doesn't affect really any of my dealings whatsoever because Karl just sends me money from Ireland. That's how we operate, basically. It's a hint, Karl. Back
Paying off my green card.
Okay. Yeah, so that doesn't affect me a lot. I actually do have a lot of food stores. I've been telling my friends this shit's going to happen. So probably they didn't listen to me, but they're going to still let people go out, I guess, to get like, go to the grocery store and things like that, which is pretty much the only thing I was doing anyway. You don't fucking go out dancing when it's a goddamn pandemic, guys. Don't do that. You know what I mean? You don't do that. Only in College of the Dead spring break, when I'm working on the story for that now, and we're going to do something similar to what we're all kind of seeing about how young people kind of weren't paying attention, but we'll still make a hero out of at least one of the young people. The writing part is really fun, and working on writing College of the Dead and developing the art with Javier and all the stuff I was doing. Like, guys, I can't tell you, if you're not into comics, like on the creative process, try to get in. We've got the ash can for the first book is on the College of the Dead campaign. It shows, I'll show that real quick, the full script and the layouts for College of the Dead, what we gave to the artist and his, whoops, where are you? Gotta go lower. What we gave him to work from with photo references, and then the layouts that Javier did on every page. It's a 100-page book. It's very, very cool. It's very educational. It is available as an add-on on this campaign. So I definitely suggest you guys check it out. But Karl and I may be back later. It just depends on what's popping. I got to go outside and see if there's actual zombies running around my streets right now or not. And we'll let Karl keep drawing DEATHSWORN so it comes out soon, and there could be a DEATHSWORN too. Yes. Guys, definitely subscribe to my channel. Click the bell for notifications. Back DEATHSWORN, and when I mean back, I mean give him all your money. And then take your wife's money or your friend's money, give it to me for College of the Dead. But what I mean back sincerely is, of course, a lot of you guys already backed us. We really appreciate you. Just if you can, share this stream, share our campaigns too, though, on social media. It's a huge help. Believe it or not, it actually really helps us out a lot. But guys, you are fantastic. Karl, I hope you know how special you are, my friend, in a good way, not a bad way. And yeah, it was really fun talking this out with you. I kind of just wanted to talk this out with you rather than even the other guys today. Because you didn't get a chance to comment on this yesterday. I knew you'd be like shot out of a fucking cannon, which you are, and that's what's great about you. All right, guys, we'll see you again soon. And if I don't see you, you know me, I will miss you guys. Let's make it happen. Comicsgate all the way.